Hello and welcome back to the high traffic ideas here in the Gale Force studios. I want to welcome you in. I appreciate you guys following along. Uh, Once again, we're back here trying to give you some insights into creating the best traffic for your small business, your side hustle, or your passion, whatever it might be. I want to be able to give you some marketing insights as far as things that you can do to kind of help you drive business and get out of the rat race and kind of take over and have freedom of time, money, and whatever that you are specifically looking for. I want to help provide and educate you in a few different things that we do here at the marketing agency. You can see I work for iMagnet. I own I own iMagnet, and this is some of the stuff that we do for a lot of our clients, and kind of walk. I wanted to walk you through whether you're a client of ours or a potential client, or you work and do stuff on your own. I want to be able to help educate you and give you a better understanding of a lot of different aspects of the marketing world. Now that I've got my words semi together, I want to kind of get into some Google Ads. It is something I think is very important. If you are now you've hit that point, you've kind of created your product or the service that you work with, and you're deciding, hey, I want to advertise this. As we always would say, I would highly suggest that you start doing some organic content, whether it's coming onto a podcast and talking about it, or just creating videos and content that you can kind of put out there. You're taking pictures, you're doing all of these kind of things that you should be doing when you first start off. The next big step is, how do I advertise this and get this out in front of a bunch of different people? So today, my high traffic idea is going to be utilizing Google Ads so that you're not spending more than you need to, but showing up in front of the right people. That is kind of the key with all of this. It's not a matter of just throwing as much money as you can at an ad and see what happens. It's strategically placing these ads and having a strategy when you're doing it. I think that is the biggest thing that a lot of people lose sight of. They just think that if they put a ton of money into this, then all of a sudden that money is going to come back. And one of the biggest things that Patrick and I had talked about when we were on the Marketing Mondays podcast was, if you're spending more than 10% of what your profits are coming in on marketing, you're doing something wrong. It shouldn't be just dumping a ton of money in and then you're not getting anything back. That's the problem. And that's what so many small businesses don't realize and end up spending way more than what they have and fall behind. This is kind of inspired. We've got a client that had some issues with the business and needed to kind of fall back on this. So again, this can be something that you use when you're in desperate need, but it's also something that you should have a plan for and be executing it as something that's a part of, as I tell a lot of my clients, your business is like a three-legged stool. You want to have organic content like blogs, you want to be doing social media, and then one of those legs that's on that stool is going to be paid ads, which I think is important. Obviously, there's a lot of different places to put your money. One of the things that I get questions a lot, and we work with meta ads, it's just not what we recommend to kind of start off, especially if you are not doing organic content. I think that's, use the meta algorithms or TikTok, wherever you're doing or wanting to do some sort of social media ad. If you are not creating organic content, you're bound to fail. Because one, you're trying to put a bunch of money behind something that you don't know if it works or not. Put out content consistently. I think I've got Gary Vee's books back here of, you need to create as much content as you can, put that out into the algorithm, put it out into the universe, and see what works. See what works organically without any money behind it, because the algorithm is going to like certain content that you produce. As you get better, as you do more, your content is going to get better, and thus the algorithm is going to respond to it. I have seen this with my own stuff on my personal side. I was getting maybe 70, 80 views on videos and stuff that I would do. Because I've started doing around 2 to 3 posts every day since October, it is now May. I'm now getting 5, 6, 700 views on almost every video that goes out. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but you're going to get better. You're going to start noticing, hey, the algorithm liked this. And it's no different with the ads on social. If you are utilizing your organic content, seeing what's working, and then putting money behind the ones that the algorithm already likes. And so that's how you're going to maximize your money when you're on social. And that's something we often say too, don't just click the boost button. You're going to want to go through Meta's campaign manager and create, or the ads manager, and create the subset, the target market that you're trying to get into, not just clicking boost and however much money a day and in a location. That's just going to be Meta, Google, all of these places love to spend your money. You need to be thinking about it strategically as far as where that money is going and who is putting and where is that ad going in front of? Like, who is actually seeing that ad? That is what is so important. A lot of times, the things that I tell a lot of my clients too, and I've repeated it on here, social media. If you are a small business, you need to, number one, be posting on YouTube, doing YouTube shorts, just because of the interconnection with Google. I think, yes, TikTok is great. Google does kind of review TikToks. But to me, because Google and YouTube are so linked through both being owned by Alphabet, I think it is so important that you are posting there. And that's something too I will get to in a few minutes at the end here about you might not have time to post on all of these different accounts, but I believe I have a solution for that. If you stick with me till the end, I will share that with you. Number two is LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is the place where the decision makers of the business, or especially we work with a lot of window tinters, and the commercial side is obviously higher ticket, higher margins, but it's usually a harder place to get into. And so with that being said, posting on LinkedIn, if you don't already have a business LinkedIn page, you need to create one and be posting there, because that's where the interior designers, the architects, the project managers, they are going to be on LinkedIn. Yes, over the last year or so, it has become a lot more like the other socials. But to me, there's still so many professionals that aren't on the other sites that are on LinkedIn. And posting on there is what's going to get you in front of the right people that you want to get in front of for a lot of those commercial jobs. And number three is Facebook. Uh, for me, if you're doing residential tinting, the biggest driver of residential jobs is going to be that suburban mom that's in those Facebook groups. They're the ones doing the research on there and finding these things, talking to their spouses, saying, hey, we want to have this done for our home. I think because I'm noticing these different things. And so posting on to Facebook, one, because the majority of people that are on Facebook are going to be of a certain age range, 35 years and up, who are typically going to have more disposable income to spend on some of those things that aren't necessities. They can actually, yes, I think having tint on the windows is important, but it's not something that is an absolute need. But the people that are going to have the money to spend are going to be on Facebook. TikTok, Instagram, X, all of those other places are great for brand awareness, but it's a lot harder to make a sale through those sites. In any case, I'm getting ahead of myself. I think it kind of just goes back to I want to make sure the importance of creating organic content if you're deciding to do any kind of meta ads. Post that organic content first, see what works, put money behind it. That is the key to success there. We are going to talk about Google Ads. And so I just wanted to kind of run through quickly and hit up some of the key spots and things I want you to think about. I'm rushing through this because I have a call with my Google Ads rep to kind of every couple of weeks we have a conversation. I learn different tips and tricks. It's an ongoing thing. Google Ads is so complicated and massive that it's something I think you have to have these check-ins and reviews with somebody who's within the company because things are changing so fast. I've been utilizing AI to kind of create different things, to do the research. And again, things are constantly changing. I want to at least kind of highlight some key things that I want people to think about if you're trying to manage your Google Ads on your own. So what I'm going to do is I am going to bring up my, hopefully I don't go away. All right. So what I've got here, before the show, I went and I created a Google Ads management set. So nothing is running as of yet. I just kind of wanted to highlight some things that you need to keep an eye on, or that you can go and look and get an understanding. Even if there's no data that's here, I want you to be able to kind of research and look at these certain spots as far as things to think about when you're looking at your Google Ads set. So we will kind of run down the majority of stuff. If you click on this campaigns, you're going to come up with these, was the 6 key spots. And overview is going to give you the full rundown of everything that's going on. That's showing right now our campaigns are paused just because they are. Excuse me. And it'll give you kind of the whole overview of everything we're going to kind of run through here. The first one we're going to look at is recommendations. And so Google is going to give you all kinds. And you can see here, I've got plenty. One of the ones that my Google rep always mentions is look at the new keywords if it's showing any that it wants to suggest. This is showing 70. I believe I already have probably 30 to 40. This is where you need to think strategically again. If you have 200 different keywords for maybe one particular campaign, and I'll get into this in a sec too. Thinking about every time that somebody is typing in and searching, because these are all search campaigns. These are strictly search campaigns, and this is all I'm talking about through this, just to kind of have a baseline. Anytime someone's typing in the Google, I need window film, I need marketing, that's the results that show up. There's the 2 sponsored links. That is all that we're doing. You can have a whole other litany of other kind of ad sets, whether they show up in YouTube, Google Discovery, Gmail, the side pieces, all of that. We are strictly looking at search ads because that is basically what we do for all of our clients. We are trying to get in front of somebody who is searching for a question. One of the key phrases you'll hear me talk about all the time is we want to find someone who is serious, not somebody who is curious. And so I often relate that to Google versus Meta ads. Someone who's searching in the Google, I need window film for X, Y, and Z, is serious. They're making an intention to kind of type into that search to try to find an answer to a problem that they're having. That is why Google ads are for someone who is serious. Someone who is curious is going to be someone who is swiping on their phone, looking at Instagram or Facebook, whatever it might be, and your ad comes across. It's, yes, you can target them and make it fairly specific, but the key to that is understanding that they weren't actively searching you out for that. So that is why they fall into the curious category for us. So understanding when someone is serious versus curious, to me, you're going to make a lot more leads when someone is serious and looking for something that they have an issue with. So if you have so many keywords, that is going to spread your budget out. And that is something to consider. If you want to niche down as close as possible and solve specific problems with your service, having too many keywords might be something negative as far as you're spreading yourself too thin. So it's something to think about. Google will offer you plenty. It might help with your impressions and get in front of more people, but it might turn into that social aspect where you're getting in front of a bunch of people that aren't actually looking for your specific service. Call out ads or call outs to your ads. So you can see here there's the headlines and descriptions, adding in these pieces to make it as detailed when someone sees these ads is something that you want to catch their eye. And so this is something to look into as far as the different call outs of things that are there as things that are there. Site links are important. To me, that's one of the things where you will see if someone is interested in whether it's residential film and you have these site links where it's news, portfolio, contact us, they can, instead of going to the page to see what they're curious or what they're looking up, what they're serious about searching, they can just click on the contact now kind of site link that'll send them straight to your contact form. So it makes things much smoother to get in front of somebody. And I think that's an important thing to think about. This is expand your reach with Google search partners. This is what I was talking about because it's going to put you out on different networks. But again, the more times that Google shows you, the more money you're spending or using up your budget. If you have like a daily ad budget of $10, $50, whatever it might be, it's going to eat up that ad budget a lot faster. We're going to look at insights and reports. One of the things that we always kind of look at is the auction insights. I'm not sure if this is going to show anything, but I can at least kind of run down. So with this, typically you will see your competitors that are also targeting the same keywords that you are. And then it'll show impression share. So this is, for us, this one is the main number for us is the impression share. That is out of how many times somebody actually searched, who was ranked first, or who had the biggest percentage of being seen, whether it's in that first, second, sometimes third spot. For us, using that ad budget, and a lot of times, a lot of the smaller businesses that we work with don't have massive budgets to kind of spend. It's going to be between the $10 and $30 a day range. And so making sure that they're seen as much as possible is very important. As you move over to these spots, you'll see top of page rate and absolute top of page rate. And you can target and use those to make sure that you're the number one sponsored link that's shown. The only issue is your bidding amount, your dollar wise, is going to be more in order to be placed into that first spot. And so if you have a limited budget, trying to push yourself into those spots is something that you need to think about, because you might use up your budget by 2-3 p.m. and then all of your other competitors are going to eat up that impression share the rest of the day. And we've noticed that a lot with our customers, that they're the ones that are typically the only ones left from 5 o'clock until 10 o'clock because their competitors have already used up their budget. And so for us, we sit there and think about that's a good thing, because typically if John Doe is coming home from work and decides, "Ooh, I'm noticing these issues that I need to take care of, let me search up for these," that's when you're being seen because somebody used it up during the day. So it's the part of one of your strategies that you need to think about. Search terms as versus what other companies are doing. And a lot of these other ones, the report editor, you can kind of create and manage that. We're going to hop into campaigns, which is I think the most important thing and the most complicated. So this is where you're typically going to go and look. Where I go look first is the campaigns. And so you can see within the campaigns, there's ad groups, ads, and ads. Those essentially is the waterfall effect. The campaign is the top thing. So you can see here, I've got marketing leads and web development leads. campaigns. If I was to break these down and say, let's just jump into marketing. And right now, I only have one ad group. And so, what we're going to do, let's just turn this into, and it's kind of subsets everything. So, within marketing, we cover social media. And if I was to go and create another ad group, it's going to kind of run through and figure out and create all the ads. And so let's say I wanted to do uh, Google Ads. And if we did another one, there might be blogs. And so what I'm going to do, and let's see if I can do this quickly, is we're going to go, and it's usually asking for one of the services. So we're going to go and grab our marketing page, grab the URL. Google will kind of scan this. And this is at least something, and you can see it's already loaded in there. And so we're going to have that. Because this was Google Ads, let's do ad spend. And this is a spot too where I will usually go and ask Claude or an AI, can you give me a list of highly searched key phrases? And that's where I will input these. Google Ads, oops, not Google, and so on. And so this, and I will quickly go through this. One of the keys, and you can see here, this is showing average, and it'll kind of list here, include popular keywords into your headlines, as well as it's saying add more site links. And so this will kind of give you the idea of how can we increase this. And this will show like how many ads searches or how many searches have shown up in the last 30 days. And let's just say top digital marketing. The only issue is I only have 30 characters, and it looks like I was able to kind of get those in. And you can see this now went green. And the more headlines that include keywords is going to increase your ad strength. And so you can go through and create all of these other ones. Let's see, digital marketing. Let's just write top. Let's see what happens there. Yep, so that one kind of popped. And you can see this has gone from about halfway, it's moved over. And then the same thing down here with descriptions. You're going to want to do add in and add more pieces into that. And then the site links. This is, again, no different what I had mentioned before. You can go in here and create like contact us. And I'm going to go here and just grab this URL, grab that, and then drop that into the final URL. If you wanted to write a description, you could. And let's just add portfolio. Since we do have a portfolio of work, we're going to grab that and drop that in. And so now, I don't know why I can't go down any farther. Oh, create. That should get fixed. We're just going to go through and we're going to save and continue. And so it's going to ask for my confirming it, it's me, just because we're working on something that's kind of important. Save and continue. And then you can see here, I have multiple ad groups. And then within the ad groups, you want to have probably about 3 different ads. And so no different than what I had gone through and created. And you can see here, we've got social media and then we've got a Google ad. You're probably going to want 3 of each. And we can get into that in just a second. All right, so let's get into the ads. Like I mentioned, I think This is something that's key that a lot of people overlook. So we're going to jump into one of the ad groups, and you can see here this one, it's we've got one single ad. At a minimum, you need to have 3 ads within. So we're looking at ads within each ad group, um, within your campaign. So your campaign can have, like we mentioned, so this is just marketing. So within the marketing campaign, we've got 2 ad groups. So whether it's ad, social media, I'll probably add a blog one as well. And then within each ad group, you need to have a minimum of 3 ads. And this is what's going to kind of help you get in front of that traffic. And each of these needs to have a little bit of different headlines. All of them need to kind of focus on those specific keywords that you were hitting on. Um, and the other thing too is making sure that you have one of the things that I'm missing here is like a phone extension. So whether you need to have a call or you can add that into each one of these ads. It's super important. I've noticed so much better improvement with the clients that I've had where I've added in more or additional ads as far as each of the ad groups. So making sure that you have those is of the utmost importance. So from that, you're going to have assets. One of the things to make sure that you add in, as my dog lays down and is making noise over there, is you can see we've got site links. This is where you got to make sure that you add your business logo, that you have specific looks like it's missing here, but images. So images that match, especially for one of the things that when we do these, as we break these down, you might have a residential ad set and making sure that you have images of homes, living rooms, large windows, whatever it might be, making sure that those images are included within the asset category. For commercial windows, that you have buildings, warehouses, large lobby windows, stuff like that, showcasing the possible work that could be done. If you're showing paint protection film, so making sure that you have all of those assets included. The next spot that we're going to go to, obviously, keywords. We had mentioned this. Adding in the keywords for the specific ad set or the ad group, and even for each ad is important that you're breaking those down. You can see here I've got 57. And one of the things that you will see is this broad match, phrase match, exact match. So broad match is usually recommended because it's anytime someone is writing in online something something advertising. It has those 2 words that it's showcasing here within that search at some point. Next is going to be the phrase match. So that's where those words are closer together within the framework of whatever they're searching. And exact match is the exact wording and spacing that you put within that keyword is what you're looking for exactly. And then what will show is your clicks, the impressions for each of those specific keywords. And again, these are the things that you are bidding against your competitors for in order to show up. So you're trying to place your ad above theirs, and you're spending, and that is essentially where you're going to see that cost come into play. Audiences, you're going to kind of get a breakdown of age, gender, household income. That's usually just kind of showing the demographics to give you an idea of who you're getting in front of. Now, location. So this is important. So for each of these, we're going to do for both. And what I can go through and do is edit each of these. And we can narrow by states or cities. What I was hoping to kind of get into, there we go, edit, locations of interest. And typically you can go through, because we want to target specific cities that we aren't in. That's where I'm going to kind of adjust and change these. There we go, cities. So what I can go through and do, and it's not letting me at the moment, um, is saying now if I go and look at my map, this I have all of my clients kind of listed here. And so essentially we don't have anybody in Phoenix. We want to make sure that we're targeting and putting our ads in Phoenix, in Houston, in Memphis, Atlanta. So there's going to be different cities that you can kind of target. This is important. So say if you're a local business, that you're only targeting the areas that you service, because if your service is at a brick and mortar or you're a mobile tint shop, obviously you're not driving across the country to go do work. We are a online service marketing agency, so we can target companies across the country. And so that's something to think about and be important. One of the other things, I've had a client come in and ask to have an ad schedule. Because a lot of your ads are going to have a phone number attached or a lead form, you may not want to get calls on Sunday. So you can edit your ad schedule so that you only get ads from Monday through Saturday, or within a particular time frame. That will also help your budget as well. So you're not spending 24 hours a day. You can set and make it framed within 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. That is when your ads show. That is when your money is being spent. And so you can kind of focus and be a lot more highly strategized about getting in front of those people within that time frame. So that's something to consider. The last thing that's listed on here is your change history. So this is important for anybody that is working with an agency. This, I think, is essential to be able to see what is happening. And as you can see here, it lists everything that is being done and by whom. So if I was to have some other agency that was a part of this, I would be able to see they added an asset, they created the budget, they did certain things. So all of a sudden, if things go haywire, you can go through this list and find out what happened and who did it, which is essential to managing your own ad campaign. A lot of times, some of these companies will hide what they're doing, which that's not something that we usually recommend for anybody, because you can't backtrace and fix things if it's something where you own the account, which is important. So those are kind of the highlighted points I wanted to run through as far as Google Ads. If you have any questions, please reach out. I want to be able to answer any questions if there's things that kind of come along. And so, like I had mentioned at the beginning, was if you have trouble or it takes up too much time in order to post, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, uh, iMagnet is now rolling out the reputation package. And one of the things that's included with this is the ability to utilize our social posting calendar. So if you have accounts, 5, 6 different accounts across all social medias, instead of manually going into Instagram and posting, going over to YouTube and posting, going over to LinkedIn and posting, this gives you the ability to create one post, customize it for each social platform, and then be able to push it out. You're also able to kind of see and view, or at least schedule out a full month, whether you want to stay a week ahead, a month ahead, whatever it might be. This gives you the opportunity to do that. As well as this new package, it's $95 a month. It's available to not just our own clients, but to everybody that wants to participate. You get access to do review monitoring. So whether you have a Yelp page, a Angie's List page, Nextdoor, you have the ability to manage any reviews or comments that are on there, as well as your social platforms, all in one place. And you're not going to be distracted by having to be on the platform. That is an issue for me. I end up doom scrolling when I meant to go and post something. So if you have that issue and you want to find a way to alleviate that stress point, the reputation package is a huge benefit to you. It also comes with a asset library. We are creating different holiday posts. So if you don't want to have to worry about kind of creating a Memorial Day post, the 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, we are going to create a holiday post library where you can go in there. You will have multiple options as far as holiday posts to choose from. As well, within this asset library are AI prompts for the window film industry. I have loaded it with solar control, safety film, deco film, PPF, ceramic coating, all two to three different AI prompts to create the social media posts that you now have the ability to post across multiple platforms. We want to make things so much easier for our clients or anybody that wants to use this package. We are also going through and looking at creating monthly reports for you as well. So, all of these pieces for just $95 a month, whether you're a client of ours or not, I think is super important to kind of help grow your business. If you have any questions, put a comment down below or email me at ronnie@imagnetmgt.com and I can walk through and get you onboarded as soon as possible. We feel this is a great program for anybody, and we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to be able to participate in this. So, once again, ask us about our reputation package. If you have any other questions, again, reach out to my email or down in the comments below. Once again, I appreciate you guys for joining me here on High Traffic Ideas podcast. We are in the Gale Force Studios, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching.